If you're like most people, you're probably a bit worried about the way that things are going in the world right now. Climate change, war, the threat of AI, not to mention poverty. There are a lot of people out there who'd like to see the world improving. And a lot of people believe a big cause of these problems is the ruthless pursuit of profits above all else, especially by businesses. So, people are pushing back against this ruthless pursuit of profit. If a business behaves unethically, consumers stop buying from it, and people stop working for it. In a rather extreme example, Boeing have recently been in the news for pursuing profit over safety. Some of their planes have had serious accidents, and now people are choosing not to travel on Boeing aircrafts. There is an increasing expectation amongst people that businesses no longer exist just to maximize the wealth of their shareholders. People expect businesses to prioritize doing good over profits. And this is why people demand authentic leadership. They don't want leaders who just make money. They want leaders who genuinely care about doing good. So what do we mean by authenticity exactly? By the way, I'm Jamie and I'm a leadership storytelling coach. I help purpose-driven leaders inspire positive change. If you find this video helpful, a like and subscribe will be greatly appreciated. So back to the video. A very common way of thinking about authenticity is to just be yourself. Just be yourself. But just being yourself is a bit problematic because you actually have multiple selves. There's the self that comes out when you're with your grandmother, the self that comes out on a Friday night when you're drinking with your friends, and the self that comes out when you're on your own and nobody's watching, and many, many other selves as well. And not every part of yourself is going to be useful for whatever situation you're in. For example, if you're someone who just doesn't like to speak up, then what good is that when you need to sell yourself in a job interview? Furthermore, what about your potential selves? They're going to be parts of you that exist in 10 years' time that don't exist today. You're going to learn new things. You're going to change. So authenticity isn't just about being yourself. So I'd like to propose another way of thinking about authenticity. Authenticity is the alignment of words and actions. The more consistently aligned your words and actions are, the more authentic you are. For example, if you keep saying you care about your customers, but stop talking to them the moment they pay you, then you're not being consistent. If, however, you keep strengthening your relationships with them, even when they're not paying you, then you're being more consistent and you're behaving more authentically. And the key to alignment is not to be strategic. The key to that alignment is a lot of self-awareness. Specifically awareness about what you genuinely care about. Because you behave according to what you care about, regardless of if you're conscious of that or not. In the example I gave just now of not talking to customers after they pay you, maybe that's because unconsciously you care a lot more about spending the money you make to have a good time than you do the customer, but you're just not fully aware of that. And authenticity doesn't come from strategically aligning your words and actions. It comes from having so much self-awareness that your words and actions naturally align anyway. And you know the best way to gain that self-awareness? By telling your stories. Authenticity comes through telling your stories. Specifically, the stories about what you care about and why. These could be stories about events in your life that made you care about things. They could be the stories about the times you did things that just felt right, or stories about times you were so determined you were able to overcome great hardship. What you'll find when you start to tell these stories is that you suddenly build very strong connections with other people who care about exactly the same things as you do. This is what happened to me when I started telling the stories of my experiences during COVID, when I lost my mother and then lived through China's zero COVID policy and the Shanghai lockdown. I came out of those experiences really angry. But when I reflected deeper on my anger, I realized it's because I care about making sure we don't blindly follow ideas that hurt people. And since I started talking about this, I started meeting a lot of new people and making a lot of new friends who care about exactly the same things. And coming back to business, those connections are the foundation of business. Our ability to collaborate is what makes us truly unique as a species, and what has enabled us to build pyramids, grow a globally connected economy, and even send people to the moon. And wouldn't it be great if businesses were run by people who all cared about something other than just profit? Wouldn't it be great if more businesses were run by groups of people who all cared about solving the same problems, or who all cared about helping the same people, or who all cared about doing exactly the same good? So how exactly can we find these stories about what we care about? In my workshops, I take people through a two-step process to help them find the stories of what they care about. Step 1 is to get clear on what you do actually care about. If you already know that, then you can go straight to step 2. But if you're not too sure about that, then it's worth spending some time reflecting on these questions. What do you spend your time and money on? What do you dream about? What do you enjoy? What are you obsessed with? What do you care about? These kinds of questions are designed to help you surface how what you really care about shows up in your life. And I suggest saving these questions on your phone or writing them down on a piece of paper and then going for a nice long walk somewhere in nature to reflect on these. Once you're clear about what you care about, you can go to step 2. In step 2, you reflect on the changes that have happened in your life. Stories are always about change. Where there's a change, there's a story. And if you look at these picture cards here, I've summarized the types of changes most people go through in their life. So have a look at these and think of the changes in your life that shaped your values. For example, maybe moving to a new country made you value diversity, or the loss of a loved one made you value health. And think about the times in your life where you acted according to your values. For example, if you value diversity, then maybe you acted on that by moving to a city that was really diverse. Or if you value health, then maybe you acted on that by quitting a stressful job and following your passion. And for each of these stories, think specifically of the challenge you faced in that situation and how you resolved it. The challenge and the resolution will be the core components of your story. Try to think of 3 to 5 stories, and then once you've got them, just start sharing them whenever you can with whoever you can, and watch what happens. I think of this approach to storytelling as inside-out storytelling. Typically, businesses and leaders approach storytelling in the opposite way, taking an outside-in approach. They start with a target audience and a goal, and then they tailor a story to achieve that goal. But the inside-out approach to storytelling is far more authentic because it simply involves telling a story from the heart and seeing what happens. And most likely what will happen is you build deep and meaningful connections with other people who care about the same things, and your words and your actions start to align in a very natural way. Thank you for watching, and if this process helped you discover a meaningful story for you, I'd love to hear it, so feel free to share in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, a like and subscribe would really make my day. You can also find links to my website, book, and online course in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.